Derry. Right, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm just getting the live started. Hopefully, we'll get a few people coming up in here soon enough. But what I really wanted to get into was talking about this demon baby scene. This is the opening from the film It. Or, excuse me, the television series It. And there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's a great scene, right? This is obviously It, coming from the, Stephen King family of horror. And this guy really does it brilliantly. And this is kind of really, I think, the culmination of a lot of his work over the years. Like, this is, to me, him putting all this stuff really to get you. So he starts it off. He chose to start, or the director of this chose to start the series off with a very particular scene. And we're gonna get into this scene right here. And kind of like why this scene is so crazy important. Let's get this playing for me here now, if it will. Oh, come on. Okay, this is an important scene in the movie. It really gets you understanding what Derry is all about in a lot of ways. I'm going to get to this appropriate scene here so I can show you guys. Okay, this is the big part of it. Like, right off the bat, you kind of start off with this activity, right? This is what these people are doing. This is just them at the movie theater. Seems like midweek, not a packed house or anything like this. What's up, KB? And you got all these people who are in this movie theater. I'm going to dissect this movie theater scene because what we see in here is kind of setting the table for... It's something wrong with Derry, right? Like from this, even if you don't know anything else about the work that it's attached to, you're gonna figure out pretty quickly that there's something wrong going on in the city, right? And this is the first thing. So this opening scene establishes, the movie environment. This is where they're at. They're in the movie theater, okay? Let me get to the part I want to show you guys here, though. All right. And as I'm kind of scanning the crowd, right, right? Let's look at the crowd, okay? Let's look at the crowd. Okay. This is a small town community. And the first things that I see here, this is just looking at the crowd. It's kind of sparse, okay? I want you guys to look at the guy in the back who's smoking a cigarette, okay? Now, we can debate about whether this is okay or not okay, but in general, we kind of accept that you don't smoke in a shared space. So nobody cares. Like, the movie theater is like going to the park. You're going to get whatever's there, man, right? So this is what we're seeing, and this is telling us a lot about the time. Again, this is like, coming out of the Cold War, so it's 60s. They embrace this time era, and this is how you sell it from a storytelling standpoint. This is how you sell the era that we're in, right? Okay, so I want to get to this part right here. Let's look at who's in the crowd, right? Okay, so let's look at this crowd right here. And again, this is seconds into the series, right? So you can see here we've got this couple here that's making out, right? You guys can see them on that side, right? In that upper left hand side, for me, left hand, right? These guys are fully making out in the theater, right? Or he's all up on her. This dynamic is not without merit, right? There's a reason for this, okay? Let's be honest. And you can see the lady sitting behind them, kind of in the middle section here, right? I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, probably not. But in this middle section here, she is clearly watching them. So this is a very weird dynamic. Like, we're in a public place, right? We're in a public place. This is a movie theater. And you guys are making out in the theater. That is weird. That's 100% weird. If I'm sitting in close proximity to you, this isn't I don't know if you guys ever been around two people and they start making out, right? I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys before, all right? But just imagine that scenario back in your youth, all right? Two people start making out and you're sitting there. This is either I gotta leave the room or join in scenario. That's typically how this is when two people are making out, right? So this lady here has got to try to make a decision on whether she wants to jump in, because she's clearly watching him. You can see her. I think in the next frame you can kind of see her a little bit better. But you guys get the scenario. The old lady with the hat on is watching this couple. Okay. Now let's focus on this couple. Let's focus on this couple here, right? Because this guy's all into it. This girl isn't even really reacting to it. Like, that's the whole thing. Even within their dynamic, this has to be kind of unwanted attention. She ain't into it, right? Like, whatever it is, this in itself is not a cool situation. So that's kind of what I get immediately when I see this, right? When I'm watching this, right? Like, he's all up on that girl's neck, and you can see the look on this lady's face. But here's what we're really after. This is our guy, right? This is our guy, okay? And it's terrible. It's terrible interacting with these people here. This lady's gonna say something to him, right? But she doesn't say anything to the couple who she's kind of policing everybody. But we need to look at this kid, because this is why we're here. This young man here, Maddie, okay? Now, why is Maddie the subject? Because everything bad's about to happen to him. Welcome to the show, okay? So I'm talking about Maddie, and this is the opening scene of It, Welcome to Derry. And he's going to be very important because he's a catalyst for a lot of what happens later. So you see this kid, and if you're paying attention, we see a lot already. First of all, this kid's sucking on a pacifier. That's significant. The pacifier would actually be symbolic of him later on. That pacifier is going to matter for a lot of reasons. So when you see, just like, you know, I would say if this is coming from Stephen King, it makes sense because he uses symbols to carry ideas, right? When you see that red balloon, you're scared now. He's the master of that. He's the master of picking out things that symbolize his fear, right? The clown face, right? The balloon, the pacifier. This is not by accident. It's not by accident that all these things are very childlike. These are things that are all supposed to provide comfort, okay? So this whole pacifier thing works on a couple of levels that are surely brilliant, okay? It stays very consistent with that idea of the clown, the balloon. It's very consistent with this theft of childhood. That's where it is attacking you at. So I don't have to question. After the balloon, after I saw the clown, I know how you're getting at it. You're coming through the childhood. And that's what Maddie is all about. That is why this becomes another symbol in that. And we'll see it later because it'll go into the river. And that matters. All this stuff matters. And then if I just look at Maddie for a second, right? The kid's face is all beat up. Okay. Let me get into it the right way. First of all, this kid is sucking on a pacifier. Forget all the symbolism that the story is putting out there and why it's focusing on. Let's focus on this kid who's sucking a pacifier, who's clearly not a baby. He's clearly not a baby. This kid's got to be like 8, 9 years old. I don't know. I'm not good at judging kids' age. I guess this kid's like 7 or 8 years old. It's my guess, okay? 7 or 8 year old kid. Why is this 7 or 8 year old kid sucking on a pacifier? That's the actual issue. A 7 or 8 year old kid is sucking on a pacifier. So the part of my brain that likes to think about stuff immediately rewinds to, okay, why is he sucking on a pacifier? Because this stands out to me. And it is a problem. It's because this kid's maxed up in the head, right? Like, we can appreciate what him sucking on a pacifier means, that your home life is really, really bad. That's gonna matter later, right? As we get further into the scene, okay? So let me get this going. So we see this kid, and he's at the movie theater. It matters that he's by himself, right? It matters that this kid is at the movie theater by himself. And let me get to this part here, okay? I let this part slip. Let's see. So our guy Maddie is here by himself, right? He's got to get sweated by this old lady. So this is already kind of a hostile environment for him, right? And the significant thing is that he's by himself too, right? Like, he's there by himself. No adult supervision. And this is gonna matter because, right, you get kicked out of the theater, right? So you're in here. They do a great job of kind of setting out who Maddie is. You're getting ran out here because you're sneaking in, and you're sneaking in here because you're sneaking in here because your home life is that bad. That's why you're here. You're here because your life is really messed up, which goes into why he had a pacifier in his mouth. All that stuff starts to add up. Kid with the pacifier in his mouth, the bruises on his face, visible bruises on your face. Even the worst parents that beat your ass don't usually smack you on the face. They know they avoid the visible signs. He didn't even care about that, right? His family life is so bad. And this gentleman here, right, when we see this guy, they talk about it. He says, right, give this kid a break. Like, we see this, right? We see them talking about giving this kid a break because we recognize that, man, it's really bad over there for this young man, right? So we're not going to get deeper into it, right? Let me move this. I want to move not you. You, not me. Move you. Okay, let's get this out of here. We know what we're talking about here, right? Talking about Derry. Okay. So we start to see this, how the community reacts. Most people in the community are like, I don't give a damn. I don't care whether this kid, it's like clearly like, this is his refuge. This isn't just, I'm trying to see a movie. This kid's refuge. He doesn't have any money. We can establish that he doesn't have any money, right? And we just want to be, right, they catch him here every single week. That's what, let me get to where you can see the caption here. Okay. They catch him here every single week because this kid's poor and he gets beat up at home, and this is the place that he goes when he wants to get away from it. He has to get away from his life. Like, and you can see this look on his face, right? This is the whole thing. It's jacked up for Maddie. Nobody's paying attention to Maddie, and it's a tragedy, right, that nobody's paying attention to Maddie. Like, let's look at his face right there. That's the look. This is the look of a beaten up face kid who's scared, who's hiding. They don't care in Derry. Not everybody says, we don't care about you, Maddie. There are some people who do care, and we're going to see that, right? In the first, we see this young lady here, instantly, she has compassion for Maddie, right? She doesn't want to see this happen with Maddie. So anyway, they're trying to stall him out. In essential, I'm stalling you out, Maddie. And why? Because it's bad for Maddie. But now Maddie has to get out of here, right? He's trying to sneak out. Maddie has to get out of here. Why? Because this guy just doing your job, right? You're doing your job. But now you're outside. This is Maddie, this kid who's already sucking on a pacifier. Now you're outside. It's cold outside, right? You don't want to go home. What do you do? Because he's been doing this repetitively. So now we see this kid. All right, look at this. This kid is like 8 years old at best, sucking on a man. Let's put this so you can really focus on what's going on here. Look at this kid, right? 8 years old, sucking on a pacifier, and now you're out here hustling a ride. I don't know where he lives at, but where I live at, this is dangerous. And I didn't live in Derry. I didn't grow up in Derry, and this would have been dangerous for me at this age. You're out at night, it's snowing, and this is clearly like some kind of trucking, but that's it. That's I'm trying to get the hell out of Derry. And this says a lot. This is important in the signage, that he is trying to exit this. This is a desperation situation, and it wasn't coincidence that he's seeing the symbol of Derry, or the sign going right into Derry. That all that matters when we look at, the context of what's going on. This kid fleeing in the night, right? So he's out there, he's dealing with it. It's freezing temperatures outside. It's worse. Derry's worse, right? Whatever's going on, Derry is worse. Until this, right? A kid hitchhiking. Until this. Now it's about to get really bad. Because now we're about to find out even stuff coming out. Now he's literally coming out of Derry. I don't know if he's beyond the city limits of Derry yet, right? Maybe they're just getting in Derry. But clearly Derry ain't done messing with him. And we're about to see why, why hitchhiking is a bad idea, right? So this is what, and you can see the look on his face, right? And this is what he sees. Okay, this family here, right? That becomes a blessing for you. This gotta visually be what you were dying to see. A couple of sympathetic faces. Normalcy. This is what, again, the whole scene is about. They fit with the times, right? The whole family dynamic here. That's what he's looking for, right? But it may be not. So we see him. They invite him to get in the car. You already see, the young girl who's there, right? We see, they're 3.5 kids, right? That's 100% who they are. What up, D-Rod? That's who they are. 3.5 kids, right? The mom is pregnant right now. This is typical Americana at the highest level, right? And initially, they show him true compassion. You just tell us where home is. She's telling him wherever you need to go, we're going to get you there. I'm sure they knew if this kid's leaving. Like, who travels late at night like this, right? Like, you have a family full of kids and a pregnant lady. I don't know what time it is. The movie theaters still clearly open. I would think they might close about 9 o'clock, right? Let's just say. In this day, I don't know. But he's out. Maybe it's 9, 10 o'clock at night. All right. And you're out traveling in the snow with your family. Where are you guys going? But, of course, Maddie can't think like that because Maddie got to deal with the realities. I can think like that, but Maddie can't. So Maddie's like, I got to take this ride. And he's like, anywhere but Derry, right? And that's significant. And they're like, we're headed to Portland, right? So you can roll with us. Which is, okay, here's the thing. You can't pick up a kid and not immediately try to take them home, right? You have to go to police station. So anybody who does something like this, I don't have to question, where are you at? Come on, what's going on? I'm trying to get my camera. So I get away from the captions here. Okay. I even go right here. So we can see these captions that are telling us the whole story, right? So they're on the news. And what's going on now, not a second of time is wasted in this series at all. Because they're taking advantage of anything. This is where the radio really acts as your conduit inside of who they are, right? You get that through the radio because it's playing what it's playing. If you're able to hear it, or when you watch the series, what they're playing is right out of the era, right? It's all about Moscow. You can see it right there, right? It's all about Moscow, underground nuclear testing. So again, this is how the writers and directors are conveying the sense of the time that they're in. This is very important that this is small town America. To really understand, storytelling, myth telling, it's always a matter of like context. When did this stuff go down? When did they believe in Zeus? When did they believe in Thor? Those things matter. When and where matter. So in America, post, this 60s era, right, they're still talking about radiation because this is a real American fear. Again, we're looking at a perfect example of this nuclear family, right? They got the two kids. She's pregnant right now. 2.3, right? Just very heterosexual family, right? Very this is the nuclear family. That's the irony. It is the nuclear family. So let's see what else they got to say here, okay? So they're talking about that, risks, nuclear genetics changing, right? Birth defects, right? That's something they're talking about. This is what the kids are listening to. So the girl asks, can he put on something else? And that starts this really weird scene where the family starts to really kind of break down. And we start seeing them as what they are. So let's take a look at this family, right? So you got this kid Ray, right? Who, he spells everything, which on the surface doesn't seem weird, right? On the surface, it doesn't seem weird, and that's Derry in a nutshell. That's the entire arc of this series. Is that on the surface, it doesn't seem weird. It's not till you really start getting into this shit that you realize how nutty this whole situation is, right? So he's at a phase where he's kind of reading everything, he's spelling everything, right? That's normal. All right, kids go through that phase. It's identifiable. But we see pretty quickly that with this kid, it gets to be out of hand. Like he's really into it, right? And show your friend. So he's really into it, obsessively. And this is important. This is really important, right? This is true storytelling. This is truly myth building at the highest level, because his spelling becomes the chant. This is either the precursor for the evil or the summoning of the evil. He's not just spelling bee, because he goes through all these words in the same kind of cadence, the same kind of rhythm, as if you're casting a spell. as if he's casting a spell. That's what the spelling, this is why they're very specific, because these are smart writers and they understood that spelling and its context to magic or extra dimensional access, well documented historically. This is kind of the basis for a lot of like systems where you'd say like magic or supernatural, the art of spelling. So in this act of spelling, he becomes the summoner, and of course some crazy shit's about to happen. So we can see it spell out. We can see it easily get to it. The spelling is the conjuring of the magic. That's what we get in this scene right here. It's extremely important, right, to kind of understand. He spells symphony. He's just kind of going on. It's not really a big deal, right? Nothing crazy's happening, but you're kind of sensing it, right? And then we start getting to this young lady here, right? Yeah, the sister, right? And he's seeing like, what's she doing, right? And you see her look at him, and now it's on. And you can see this insidious look on her face, and it's her hands all bloody, right? So why would she do? So now it starts. Now she's really getting into like, this is a weird family. But she takes time out of that to react to him again. She becomes part of the spell, right? The summoning of whatever bad is about to happen right now. Maddie's sitting in the car. He doesn't know any of this stuff. I know this stuff, right? I'm already trying to get up out this ride. In fact, if I had seen this family, I wouldn't have gotten in the car in the first place, right? Okay, so this is what Maddie's seeing right now. He's seeing all this. The spelling's going on. They're summoning right now. He had no idea this, okay? But he's about to find out, right? And you see the kids get a little snarky, right? And this is an important scene right here. This daughter kind of gets a little off the hook right here, right? This is where it starts. Okay. So, again, this is Americana. This is surface, everything looks good, but deep down, there's rot. And this family, like, again, one of the more powerful opening scenes for any series, I've watched. Because they're giving you so much information here on so many levels, right? The mother calls her my little harlot. Look at the look on the dad's face, right? He's smiling. He's not upset. They maintain this kind of weird like family scenario while it's about to get like super misogynistic and kind of abusive, right? Right? Reminds me of her mother. She couldn't keep those legs together like her mother. So Pops is in on it already, right? That's it. They're all talking about it, right? Another symbolic sign of Derry here up in the corner, right? And they're back. So he's not able to get out of Derry, right? He's not able, right? So now they're having like kind of openly lewd talk in front of this stranger. They talk about the daughter's legs being open. Once he impregnated me again, right? So they're openly like, this is the conversation that they're having, right? Meanwhile, weirdo McKiddenstein is still in the back, and he's still like, now he's like, he's still like spelling stuff out. He's still spelling, and now my man wants to get out of the car, but now they can't. Kidnapping, and see now they're starting to tell him, I'm spelling kidnapping. You can't get out of the car. Right? And he's coming up with every single excuse for you to stop. I gotta pee. Stuff that under normal circumstances, you stop when a kid says they have to pee because they're getting ready to pee. But these guys don't care, right? Can you just pull over for a second, right? If they don't stop spelling, this is what's going on. And he sees them pass up opportunity. Now, this is where it's real. He sees them pass up opportunities for him to get out repeatedly. Now the panic is starting to set in. And again, this is not a soft kid. You got bruises all in your face already. So you're coming from a place of desperation already, right? We don't even have to guess about what your motivationals have to be in life. If it's that bad, you're seeking refuge anywhere that you can get it. And now you find yourself locked in this situation that's worse than anything that's even been going on in your family. So let's roll through this with man. He let me out. He can't get out. Now it's a panic time. And we see the whole family is kind of in on the chant, like they're spelling it. Now his words have become part of the chant. The mother's in on it. The father's in on it. This kid tries to take the wheel, okay? And now we're going to pause right here. Because now, okay, I want to take a moment to talk about the psychology of what Maddie is going through at this time. Let's think about where Maddie is at this point, okay? You're so fearful of your home that you were sneaking into the movie theaters repeatedly to just escape being at home. That's the first starting point. That's what we know. You get ran out of the movie theater, which again, everybody's kind of being shitty. People in the movie theater not being nice to you. Guy chases you out. You do see some compassion from the young lady. We'll talk about her later too, Ronnie. So you're jacked up in the head because you're fleeing. You don't have a space. I don't know if you've ever been out in the world and didn't have a place. It's in the world. It's big, and you're this little kid. But whatever it is, you have to get out of where you are. Get out of Derry. At this point, you think initially that you get what you visibly see is hope. This family who wants to take you in, take you with them. They're understanding. They're compassionate. This usually isn't the scenario where you need to fear. If it's a guy in a van, like I get it. If it's a one guy in a van, all right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Clearly you have your red flags on. But when you see a family, you're not typically thinking that. And so this is what Maddie gets caught in. And now he's gone from this sense of maybe even relief to now flat out fear. I'm being kidnapped openly. Somehow we're back in Derry. I can't even get the fuck out of Derry. And now I'm trapped with his family. That's clearly looking crazy. The little boy is chanting over here. The sister just tried to smear blood in my face. The mother and the father having vulgar conversations about the daughter being a hoe and the mom being a hoe and getting her pregnant. This is not what I was looking for if you're Maddie. So this is looking worse and worse every second that goes by. And here's the thing. As crazy as every single bit of that sounds, it's about to get even worse than this for Maddie, right? Let's get into it. Because this is what actually brought us here. This is the part of it, again, back into the spell casting. Okay, and here we go. Here we go. This scene is so raw, I had to look away. And I'm 53 years old. I've watched so much crazy stuff, and I had to look away. And Maddie just got to deal with it, right? Out, right? And this is her getting ready to, like, I can't handle this. I'm with Maddie. I got to get the fuck up out of here, right? It's full on panic at this point. And here we look at this, and this belly's growing, and this is everything right here. I hate that that's even above my head. This is everything about this right here. She's grunting this thing out. The family's chanting. Okay, this is important. They are spelling in the back as this is happening, and it's the worst thing you could imagine, right? Look, now everybody's worried about it. Because they were chanting. What do you typically behind chanting like that? And I said, this chant was them spell casting. This is what they were doing. They were casting a spell. The little weird-eyed speller kid, he got it all started. Then the sister jumped in, and they even lured Maddie into it, and then everybody and they were casting a spell while this was going down. So let's see the results of this thing, right? As they're casting a spell. It's a beautiful baby. She's happy about it. Everybody's happy about it. It's not even weird. It's not even weird to them that we're riding in the car. We're riding in the car. We don't even stop or pull over or nothing like that. And bam, you just had a baby in the whip. That's not freaking anybody out. And like that. You had that baby like that. No epidurals, right? No like back massage, nothing. Not even ice chips. None of that. You just had this baby live and direct right here. And apparently that's cool too, right? Okay. This is normal. The family has already accepted all of this as normal, okay? I'm not. I'm sure Maddie isn't. But they're like, this is normal. The get down is getting down. And you got to deal with this. Again, you're 8. You got to see this. What just came out of this woman is where your head's at, right? I'm curious too. What just came out of this woman, right? What came out of this woman? And there it is. There it is. A demon baby, right? Yeah, Maddie's just in fear now, right? Okay, look at this. All right. Come on. Yeah, I'm with you, Maddie. I feel the same way. I feel exactly the same as you do. Look at this thing. Yeah, look at this thing. This is it right here, okay? This is it right here. You're a freaking 8-year-old. You're an 8-year-old kid who's so traumatized by life that you ran away from home in the middle of the night to hitch a ride with some strangers, only to find yourself face to face with this thing. And I don't even know what this is, other than some type of a demon baby, which is the worst thing ever. And here's the thing. There is a lot of significance in the demon baby. This is like some real old school lore that we're going to talk about later. I'm going to talk about the demon baby itself, right? This newborn baby. The family's happy with it. The little boys help us. You guys were literally casted a spell around me. So there's a lot that's going on. Again, this is like 7 minutes into the series. And you see how much layer and context is already there, right? That this family is produced. This is what the toxicity of the time that they live in, the environment that they live in, and the dysfunction of the American family. The appearance that everything is so nice. And this is what Derry is a symbol for. Derry is a symbol of American small town. This family is the symbol of the American family. And the dysfunction that is just below the surface. Just below the surface, it's terrible in Derry. It's the worst thing ever. And that's why you get demon babies. That's why your women are producing, your seed and the wife produces demon babies. So he's saying a lot. And this demon baby comes first of all, this demon baby ain't no joke, man. Like let's just give all props to the demon baby. This demon baby is a gunner right from the start. You jump out the box, flapping all around the car. The only thing holding you in place is the umbilical cord. You got the whole car. Like everybody in the car is terrified right now because we don't know what the demon baby is running it. Demon baby is the star of the show by a long shot, right? Like and how the father is still just driving this car, and it just occurred to me the symbolism and the message, even within that, even with all this utter madness that's going on, he keeps his car kind of on the road. Far better than I could have done. Let me tell you right now. If me and you are in the car and somebody in the car with us has a demon baby and I'm driving, we're probably all going to be dead. Or at least you guys are probably going to be dead because I'm getting fucked up out of there, right? And the father, look, whatever, okay? We all getting out, or I'm not getting out with you guys at all. Anyway, the father is holding this bad boy on the road. Maddie's like, I got to put the pacifier in my mouth because I can't. This is way more than Maddie can take. And just imagine, oh my God, the baby's crawling around the car. You can imagine, right? What he's envisioning, right? You can imagine what it is for this kid. The sheer terror on a child, a young child. It's not enough. See, this is the particularly insidious thing about Derry, is that it actually wants the kids. It actually, the younger and more innocent that you are in Derry, all the better. All the better. And in his case, there's no level of protection, not societal, not family, his first normal level of protection, not societal, right? That next level of protection. And we don't know anything about institutional at this point. We haven't seen him interact with institutional, police or anything like that. So we don't know. We don't know how it is with her. We can see these first two levels that a child would turn to are non-existent, right? And now on top of all that, you're in the whip with this crazy family and they got this baby, right? And what's going to happen now, right? Right. This scene right here. So clearly the baby bust him out, and that's the symbol I was talking about there. This pacifier. This is what's left of him. And from a symbolic standpoint, the pacifier now enters into the pantheon of the balloon and the clown imagery. This is another trophy for it in the sense. And you see where it is. It's at the bridge. So it's going to go right into the river, which feeds into the sewers. All this stuff in Derry really, really focuses on the sewers. The sewers is where all the crazy stuff exists in Derry, where it manifests itself at, right? So this Maddie symbol, Maddie sigil, if you were, Maddie's sigil goes into the river and goes into the sewer system like everything else that it has been collecting overall. It's like a predator. It's like the predator of little children, right? These are his trophies. And what did you get? I got a balloon. Oh, I lured this kid in here with a balloon, right? Georgie's ship is a newspaper ship. Very symbolic, very, very symbolic symbols. Extremely symbolic. And this again is we forget, because of how crazy he appears with his writing, how brilliant Stephen King actually is at storytelling. All the gore and all the scary stuff doesn't work if he doesn't know how to structure a story right. And this man is developing a modern myth. If I were able to project this out 1,000 years from now, how would people interpret his work? I think it would be very telling about us as a culture at this particular time period in this place. I think that's what this entire thing is an incredible reflection of who culture is right now. And specifically, he's picking a time period that was influential to him, and he's retelling to this audience now. So for a lot of this is like, our boomer generation, whose boomers are insane. I don't know if you guys realize this, but boomers are absolutely insane. Because this same generation that, like, later, because of you, Cocaine Bear exists. But we'll talk about boomers later. But this is modern mythology being made, brilliant writing, brilliant symbolism. I'm gonna leave it on this. I want this to be the image that we walk out on. Maddie's, pacifier being thrown out of the car, right? That's it right there. This is the last of Maddie. We won't see Maddie again until he's like in the screen in the movie. So they got Maddie. They got your boy. But if you're interested more about these breakdowns, I do some very interesting breakdowns comparing Derry to the Stranger Things city and all, some other stuff, some deep mythology. Like, subscribe, and as always, you can check out my YouTube channel if you like longer and deeper dives into more mythology. Giggity.